Hi, I go by the name of Podgy. You're looking for a job, looking for work. Hi, I go by the name of Podgy Figures, and today we got a special guest on Life of an Entrepreneur. He goes by the name of Martin. He's come to share his journey on how he joined his family business, FBG. I want to welcome to the show, Martin. How are we doing, Martin?
Hi, you all right? Nice to be on. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, no, it's good to see you, man. It's good to see you. How's your week been?
Yes, I've been lying if I say it wasn't hectic. It always is, really. Just jumping from one subject to another all the time, but that's why we love it.
Yeah, no, I hear that. The number one question is, Martin, what is FBG?
So the family business group is FBG. That's quite a recent naming strategy, let's call it, because we have a number of businesses and they're all quite different in different sectors. So we have Festive Lights, which is a lighting company, and then we have Dislot, which is a car security company, and more. So we had to come up with some type of naming strategy. So when we're talking to people, they don't just know us for one business, but they'll know us for them all. So yeah, the FBG is quite a recent thing. It's always just been individual businesses, but now we've brought them all together.
No, that's good to hear. Another thing, when I was talking to people and people was asking me questions to give you about the business, the first thing they said is family business. Normally, family and business, that don't normally work. Give us the secret on how it works for you, Martin.
Um, I think it goes back to the parents. To be honest, my mum and dad have been business people, entrepreneurs from a very young age, and when you grow up as part of that, as soon as we were capable and able to do anything, you're involved, as a child. So my mum and dad used to sell Christmas trees, for example, years and years ago. And I was the one with my brothers cutting them down, dragging them out of the field, putting them for sale. And I maybe was like 9, 10 years old. So you brought up with that. And especially my mum was very good at making sure we were good as a family as well as business. So, no one could ever step out of line or do anything. We were showing the right way of doing things and respect for other family members. So people don't think it works, but it can work. It really can work.
Do you know what? That's interesting how you explain it. And I think that's the way to make it work. Let's get straight to it, people. I go by the name of Podgy Figures, and I want to thank everybody that's been watching my channel. However, I need you to subscribe to my channel. I need you to press that like button. It's almost like with your intermediate family, you're showing them the entrepreneur skills, you're showing them the life, and you're actually bringing them to see it firsthand. And then so when they join it, it's like almost just second nature.
Yeah. So for us, we saw it from a very young age. So by the time we left school at 16, or we went to college and left, you already know a lot of this stuff anyway. You know how a family business works, what is expected, the effort you have to put in. It's not just a 9 to 5. Your family business is discussed at the dinner table. It's a complete lifestyle, isn't it? It's not just a business.
Yeah, no, I agree. Another thing as well, if you can tell us as well about the story I love about the steering lock story about your dad and how it become and how it got made and what story it's in and stuff like that as well. Do you reckon you could elaborate on that one?
Yeah. So my dad is a very competitive person. He's very entrepreneurial. He's always looking how he can do things better. And when he first started out, his qualifications were as a forester, so he was cutting trees down, and for people, that was his qualification. But he always liked nice cars, and when he earned enough money to buy his dream car, he did. But quite quickly afterwards, it got stolen. So my dad, being my dad, he's like, if I get the next nice car, I don't want it to be stolen again. So I'm going to do something or invent something to stop people stealing my car. And so that's what he did. He designed the disc lock security product that goes on the steering wheel and prevents you stealing the car. But that was 35 years ago now, that company. It's still now going really strong. It's probably the strongest it's ever been. So that remains the starting point and still a core part of what we do today.
That's amazing, man. Like how your dad's such a solution-based individual and an entrepreneur to say, you know what, there's a situation here, and I'm gonna figure out how to solve the problem. Like that's an amazing skill to have. And what I like about that skill, and I admire about that skill, that's not something they can teach in school. They can't teach in college, or they can't teach in university. That it's like you just gotta have that in you.
Yeah, my dad left school early, no qualifications. I think he's probably dyslexic. He can't. He struggles with spelling and stuff like that. But that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's made a very successful product company operation. Whilst bringing up 4 children as well with my mum. So they didn't do it the easy way. But that's ingrained in us. So we're problem solvers. So if we come across a business problem, we will do the same with the same principle. We won't be beaten. We have a saying: "Don't say it can't be done," because it can. There's a way of doing it. So yeah, that's ingrained in us completely.
That's an amazing skill. That's an amazing trait to have as well, like inside of you. So we got the steering wheel. What's one of the next great products you have on FBG?
So the next one was festive lights, and festive lights, as it sort of alludes to, is mainly Christmas lighting. That's its biggest time of year, and it sells to the public, but also businesses. But it's busy year round now. It sells wedding lighting, solar lighting, garden lighting, things like that. And festive lights was born out of. It's another interesting story, because when my dad invented the disc lock, he originally made it in the UK, but it got to a point where the quality wasn't good enough in the UK, and also they couldn't produce enough for the sales that he was then getting. So he moved the production to Taiwan, and this was, again, I don't know, 25, 30 years ago. And when he went to Taiwan to see the factory, one of the people in Taiwan said, I know another factory that does Christmas lights. Would you be interested in, importing a container of Christmas lights? And my dad was like, well, I do have spare shop space in the building that was their head office. So we thought, well, why not have a go? Why not set up a Christmas lighting shop and buy a container of lights in from Taiwan? And that was in 1999. That was in time for the millennium.
See, listen to that. That's great. Like, listen to that alone. Like, this is before the boom of internet, social media. Like, to even have that, like, confidence and that bravery to say, you know what, let me fly out and see how I can expand my business, and like that there alone, you need a medal for that. Do you know what I mean? Because social media is about, and it feels like the world's a lot smaller because it's easier to connect with other people. But that in 1999, that's big.
I think the bravery, when I look back now, the bravery of my dad going to Taiwan on his own with no understanding of what it's like, no English speaking, no nothing. No one was going there. My dad had to approach the embassy in this country to ask, how do I get to Taiwan? Because there wasn't that many flights there or anything. We were talking 1999, and it must have been like traveling to Mars or space. It must have been that, completely that different. So when I look back now, that was crazy bravery for my dad to go on his own, not with my mum, and just try and create something new. Get this product he knows that he can sell, but he's heard Taiwan is the place where things are being manufactured and things are up and coming, and to take that step, but then not only do that, but be offered something else from Taiwan and think, actually, there's a business idea there. And now Festive Lights turns over, north of £10 million, and employs 70 people, and the rest is history. And that's 25 years old now.
That's amazing.
So that was the next one.
That's amazing. Like, listen to that. Like, he saw an opportunity out there that many might not even been able to have seen, and he took the opportunity, and 20 something years later, it's turning up like millions and millions of pounds, and still going now. That's greatness there in itself, man. Like, really.
Yeah.
No, that's good to hear. Another thing as well, that so we got the steering lock, we got the lights. Tell us about the bikes.
Yeah. So the bikes was relatively recently, we're talking 5 years, bang on pre-COVID time, like 2018, 2019. And this was another interesting story, how this started. So my dad's best friend, was touring, or wanted to go touring around Europe in a motorhome. But what he wanted to do was he wanted to take some bikes with him, but he didn't want to put the bikes on the rack on the back for security reasons. So he was like, right, I want a folding bike. And he started looking at the market, and they were all a bit naff. They were either very traditional and old fashioned looking, or the quality was crap. So he was like, oh, I think there's a market here. So anyway, he approached my dad because he knows my dad's entrepreneurial. He knows he's in business. He says, what do you think of this idea? And my dad thought it was quite good. So we started to do a bit of research. And then essentially we ended up saying to my dad's friend, if we're going to do this, I want all my sons and daughters involved, because my dad was getting on a bit, so he's not necessarily got the skills of the internet and things like that. So he said, right, well, if we're going to take a punt on this project, I want the full team involved. So my dad's friend, me, my two brothers, and my dad were all sat all on the board. We created the board and said, right, we're going to do it. So we imported initially a frame from China, found all the components to make up what is now an award-winning or multi-award-winning e-bike range. And yeah, we're just celebrated our 5-year anniversary with that, and we sell direct to consumer online, but we also sell through 200 bike shops nationwide now. So yeah, it's crazy how fast that happened. COVID did give us a good platform and a good boost, because everyone was told to go out and do exercise rather than, they were told to go out running or go out on the bike. So it really gives a good platform. But my rider, we're really proud of how quickly we've been able to attack a market that we knew nothing about. We knew nothing about the bike market at all. And we've built a great team, great manufacturing facilities here. You can see the bikes on these pictures in the background. We've built a great facility, and we're very excited about my rider going forward.
No, I want to congratulate you on that one, man. Like 5 years as well. And you know what speaks volume as well, especially about your dad, is he's not just creating ideas. He's actually listening to other people's ideas and saying, you know what?
Yeah.
I'll take a risk on it, even though I don't know too much about it, but I'll bring my family involved in it, and we create a board and do it that way. That shows like something else. Like, he's like an innovator, a visionary at the same time. And I feel that's a beautiful skill that entrepreneurs do have.
Yeah, I think they just they look at something, don't they? And they can quite quickly, understand whether this is something of interest or not. But you need a great team, and my dad's almost retired now, really, from business. But he, we've learned all that, over the last 20, 30 years with him. And we're all like that now. We're all very different. So me and my brothers, my sister, and my brother-in-law, we're all very different. But as a team, we're very, very strong together. So we all got different skill sets, whether it be marketing or purchasing or product design or whatever it is. We can take them opportunities and run with them. So I'd like to think we've learned from my dad, and we're spotting opportunities now. And there's a couple we can talk about a bit later. But yeah, that's it's all good. Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good to hear. As I said, congratulations on that. Tell us about the cardboard boxes, though, because this is something that I've seen on your page, and you're making 7 figures of cardboard boxes. It's like, yo, I had a few cardboard boxes in the shed myself. I'm thinking how to make some money from it. So tell us the journey and the story about your cardboard boxes.
Yeah. I feel like I start saying the same thing every time, like, oh, this is an interesting story. But again, it's just it started again as a just an idea. So how it started was, we have a big distribution centre. It's 55,000 square feet. We dispatch thousands of parcels a day. We stock loads of product. So a byproduct of that is, when you're selling loads of things, the outer cardboard cartons, they're always waste. They just get either, currently we're baling them. So what we do is we collect them all up, flat pack them, put them into a baling machine. It compresses them all, and then we sell that bale of scrap cardboard to a third party. And we're not talking lots of money. I don't know, 30, 40 pound a bale. I don't really know. But then it was like, well, why can't we sell this cardboard box? Why can't we do something else with them? Because it's a shame just to have them baled, and because some of them are really strong and sturdy. And all the staff that we have here, if they're moving house, they'll come to us and say, can I have some of them cardboard boxes to move house? And it got us thinking about, is there a market? So we sell heavily on Amazon and eBay, and we started doing some research, and we saw the volume of cardboard boxes. We couldn't believe how many people were selling. So we thought, right, well, we're going to list like seconds or used cardboard boxes on Amazon and see if they sell. And they did straight away. We started selling, and we quite quickly hit a problem where we didn't have enough excess cardboard to fulfill the orders we were getting.
Wow.
So at that point, it's like, well, there's a market there, but we can't fulfill them. So then we started looking at new cardboard boxes. So where could we buy them from at the right price? How could we improve the sales? How would we market it? So we just took it a lot more serious and started looking at the data. The data was suggesting that we could be selling anywhere between 30 and 100,000 boxes a week on Amazon, right? So we said, right, well, how can we compete with the people that are already there? And when we looked at the market, these people that were selling a lot, they were plain cardboard boxes, just brown, with no writing on, no personality, no nothing. So we thought, well, our branding expertise, let's try and take that humble cardboard box and add a brand, add some personality, give people a bit of fun when they're moving house, because it's quite a stressful time, isn't it, when you move in apartment or moving house. We thought, well, let's try and inject some personality and see if we can make something work. So what we did is we come up with the brand Moving Box, and it was MOOING or VING. It was almost a play on the cow, so the moving at the start, and we had a cow pattern on the box, and it really made it stand out, and it was an instant hit. The sales started to go like this. The problem we hit quite quickly, though, was we had a litigation issue around the trademark from a big company in America. We're talking a $1 billion company in America. And the issue with that is we were in the right, but because they have so much power, so much backing, that we just made a commercial decision at the time. Let's scrap that name and let's redo it again. So we went back to the drawing board and we came up with Safari Pack. And Safari Pack is what it is today. But it's actually, in hindsight, a better name because it allows us to do other things in the packaging industry and not just pigeonhole it to moving boxes, which is what the brand was originally. So yeah, Safari Pack was born, and we sell anywhere between 30 and 40,000 boxes a week. We buy them from the biggest manufacturer of cardboard boxes in the UK, or in Europe as well, actually. We bring them in, we bundle them together depending on how many people have ordered. We put them through a big packaging machine, a big wrap machine, and then customers, they go out to customers all around the country. We've now set up a website off the back of that because people searching on Google and not just Amazon. So we set up the website, and that's going from strength to strength. So
that's impressive. Like you said, a lot of great things there. Even when you said the first name you had, you came into a bit of clashed with an Americans, but the way you pivoted to say, you know what, let's kind of go again and bring another name to the table and move forward, because I think that's a important part. A lot of entrepreneurs, sometimes we come across this hurdle and we feel like, you know what I mean, it's going to slow us down, but sometimes it's like you got to cross that hurdle for an actual reason, and it will even make your product even better. Let's get straight to it, people. I go by the name of Podgy Figures, and I want to thank everybody that's been watching my channel. However, I need you to subscribe to my channel. I need you to press that like button. Because as you said, from the move to what you did now, it's like it made it even bigger than what it was before. So that's something for people to take in.
Yeah, I think we could have been, because we all love the visuals of Moving Box, and it was all really good. We could have been more stubborn and said, no, we're going to fight it. We're going to spend, because we have money. So we said, right, we're going to fight it. We're going to spend 100,000 in court fighting it. We could have done that, but it would have been lost energy, lost time. It would have caused all sorts of problems. Uncertainty is the biggest one around that. So that's the decision we make. And I think you after years in business and, coming up against these hurdles all the time, you're better equipped to make them decisions because you've almost been there before and you've got the T-shirt, as we say, you've got that experience from something else and you can apply that all the time. So I think that's why we made that decision. I think it was the right one. Yeah,
no, I'm glad you shared that. Because there will be people watching this and they will be coming to similar, maybe not as big as that situation, but a similar situation and thinking, shall I fight this battle or not? Or shall I use my energy to kind of go again? So that's great. You shared that part of the journey. One thing I wanted to ask as well, where in the UK are you based?
So we are north. So we are Greater Manchester. We are Wigan. So it's just off the M6, about an hour and a half, 2 hours north of Birmingham.
Nice. Have you always been based up north, Manchester?
Yeah, so all the family's always been based in and around Manchester and Lancashire. So we have two sites. We have a head office in Chorley, and then we have the big distribution centre in Wigan. So they're about 15 minutes drive apart. So we're across two sites, but it seems to work at the moment.
Nice. So all great products you have, what does a financial year look like for you? Like a good year?
The business is very difficult, so each year is different, and it's very hard with external factors, especially the last 4 or 5 years, to navigate this landscape, because you've had multiple wars, you've had strikes, you've had oil prices going up, you've had COVID, so it's been a battle in itself to navigate this. But I think we've done it really well. And I'd say 4 or 5 years ago, we were making a good profit, but we were more focused on growth rather than profit. And ever since after COVID and with costs increasing, we've more and more had to look at profitability rather than accelerated growth. So over the last 3 years, we really concentrated on profit, and that shows now in our accounts. But going forward, we now are a bit back on a growth curve again. Now we've got the profitability in the business and the costs under control. We're now on a growth stage. So every year for us has got to be profitable, because we can reinvest that and move forward. If we run it too skinny and we don't have that profitability, you're just asking for trouble.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I definitely know what you mean. As an entrepreneur, there's somebody now watching who's in a 9 to 5. Have you ever had a 9 to 5 yourself? All right then. So somebody's in a 9 to 5 right this second now. They're like thinking they've got idea. They're doing a bit of their due diligence about it, and they want to pivot to their idea. Do you have any like advice you would give to somebody who wants to make that start?
Yeah, I think when I always talk about this, and I see a lot of people like friends and extended family, and they're thinking, "Oh, I should do something. I'm fed up with my job, and it's boring, or I should be doing something now different." And the biggest hurdle is always starting off. So making that start. And I just say to them, like, find something that you like doing, find something that you're passionate about. It might be sport or it might be exercise, fitness, whatever it is, find something that you're passionate about, do your due diligence because you have to, but also you can't overthink it because you will never start. If you go through every scenario, this could go wrong, I can lose money, this, that, and the other, you will never start. And that's the most important thing. And I was reading a book recently, and I don't read many books, and it was Richard Branson's autobiography, his first one. So it was quite old, but the title of it, or there's a saying in there that he has, is "Screw it, let's do it." And that's just taking that, them words and saying, right, I'm just going to have a go. What's the worst that can happen? Just give it a go, because if you don't, you'll never start. You'll never know. So really, it doesn't matter what the business is. If you're passionate about it, or you're passionate enough about that industry or sector, just do it. That would be mine.
Saying, screw it, let's just do it. And I like what you said as well about overthinking. I think too much people do that. I think like a lot of these ideas you have, you're going to have to learn on the fly. You're going to have to, learn as you go along. And you're right. You got to do your due diligence and know as much as you can. But as you move forward, you're going to have to like learn as you go along. So yeah,
it's so important that I think you can map out as much as you want, and in a business, especially starting a business, you're going to be like that. It's not going to be a straight line. You're going to be like this. So you do have to, as long as you're willing to put the effort in, you're willing to put that graft in, you're willing to put the effort in, then a lot of it is learned on the job.
I got a side note question as well. Some of the guys wanted me to ask you this question. So they're in a relationship at this precise moment. They got their 9 to 5, but they have their idea in their head that they want to do. They want to start their business. How, because you're an entrepreneur and you have a family, what's the best way to either maybe approach the missus or tell the family that this is the idea, and then in the next 3 to 4 months, I'm looking to pivot that way? What advice would you give to a guy out there?
I think it's a good question. I think communication is important. I think like you're gonna have to get to a point where you need to sit down and just have an open conversation, because that's sometimes it's how am I going to approach it? But an open conversation is the starting point, isn't it? It's a starting point to say, look, I'm not quite happy with what I'm doing. I want more for the family. I want more for us, and I can better ourselves. And this is a thought I've come up with. But I'd say that initial conversation really, because if you just dump it on someone, or you're quite aggressive with, I'm doing this, that's it, I'm gone, I'm doing, if you've got the right family or the right partner, wife, husband, whatever it is, they should be on board. You need someone on board to back you, as a person. And if that person loves you, they should back you, and whether they come on that journey with you in the business or not, they've got to understand that it's not it's not a 9 to 5, is it? So it's not going to be, I'm going to stop taking calls at 4:30. Someone might ring you at 8 o'clock saying your website's gone down, or your stock's not going to arrive, or or there's a problem with this or that. It is a lifestyle. So, but I think a bit like being upfront about it. It's hard for me really to say anymore because I've grown up with the family. I've not really been in that position of having to approach a wife or husband about starting a business.
I like what you said, though. I really do like what you said, where you said initial conversation and communication. I feel like that will help the guys that have asked me this question. At the end of the day, you got this idea. Don't be aggressive with it. Initial conversation and communication and kind of just walk them through it. And as you said as well, don't just throw it on them. Let's a little time period for it so everybody can adjust to the actual pivot. Martin, I appreciate you coming on today as well and sharing everything and taking time out of your day and inspiring my people and the viewers that are watching. Like, I really appreciate that. And big up everybody up north as well, Manchester as well. So, like, thank you for coming on today, man.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's been, I always like doing things like this because we've been in business a long time, but it's nice to just share a little bit of insight and maybe advice. So hopefully, your viewers will find this interesting. And if you've got any questions, I'm on TikTok or wherever, just drop me a message, or if any viewers have got any questions, I'm more than happy to help.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'll definitely put your details down. So if if they want to ask any questions, they can hit you directly. Thank you for this, Martin.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Let's get straight to it, people. I go by the name of Podgy Figures, and I want to thank everybody that's been watching my channel. However, I need you to subscribe to my channel. I need you to press that like button.